Hello again, my name's John. I'm a retired cook from the northeast of England in the UK, and welcome to my latest bread recipe. And in this one I'll be making these spectacular tiger rolls. They're soft and light on the inside with a delicious crispy tiger topping, ideal for sandwiches and very easy to make. You can view the ingredients list and full written method for this recipe on the recipe page on the channel's website. I'll leave a link in the description under the video, or you can click on the eye icon top right of the screen to take you directly to the recipe page. I'd also like to thank my Patreon, PayPal and Super Thanks supporters for their very kind help in producing these tutorial videos. Your amazing financial support really helps with ever-increasing equipment, ingredient and editing software costs. I'll be giving you all a name splash and shout out a little later in the video. Okay, let's get on with today's recipe. As always when making bread, it's best to check that your yeast is okay before starting the recipe. So to the warm water add the sugar. Once dissolved, add the yeast and give it a good mix in. You can use instant or active dried yeast for this bread recipe. I'm using instant in this one. Now set it aside until it shows signs of activation. If your yeast is not activating after 10 minutes, it must be dead and it needs replacing. And as you can see, mine's developed a foamy head after only 7 minutes, which means it's very healthy. Okay, on to kneading the dough. First add the salt to the flour and mix it in. As this is a very low hydration dough, 58% in this case, you can easily knead it by hand. But due to my wonky hand, I'll be using my stand mixer to do mine. Now add your yeast mixture to the bowl. Then add the butter. Now add the flour mixture. If you are going to knead this by hand, roughly mix everything together in a bowl, tip it out on your worktop and hand knead it for 10 minutes. Now using your dough hook, give that a good mix until it all comes together. Scrape down the sides of the bowl if you have to. Once it's all together, set your timer and knead for 10 minutes. And if you're kneading by hand, you'll have to do that for 10 minutes too. After the 10 minutes kneading, turn it out onto the bench and form it into a ball. Then get it into a lightly oiled bowl, cover the bowl. Now I like to use a shower cap for this. We do have these in red or white in the website shop if you're interested. Now get it into a nice warm draft-free spot. I like to use the oven with just the light bulb on and let it proof for 45 minutes. Once your dough has been proofing for around 20 minutes, it's time to start making up the tiger paste. So add your warm water to a small mixing bowl. Now add the rice flour. Next to go in is the corn flour. You may know that as cornstarch. After experimenting, I recently discovered that by adding this small amount of corn flour to the tiger paste recipe, it gives a lighter crispness to the finished tiger topping. Now add the sugar. Next to go in is the 1 gram, that's a 1/4 teaspoon of instant or active dried yeast. And now add your pinch of salt, and you only need around 1/8 of a teaspoon. Finally, you can add the oil to the bowl. You can use olive oil for this recipe, or you can use sesame oil. But as sesame oil has a pretty strong flavour, I like to use a blend of 2/3 olive oil and 1/3 sesame. So you still have the flavour of the sesame oil, but it isn't as strong. Now using your small spatula, give that a good mix together until you have a smooth, soft tiger paste. Now I'll cover the bowl with a piece of PVC-free cling film. And you can also use biodegradable or compostable cling film or plastic wrap too. Once your bowl's covered, get it into the same warm spot where you have your main dough proofing, because we have to get the tiger paste activated too. Once the time's up on the proofing, turn out the dough onto a flour-free surface, then knock it back. This simply means push all of the built-up gas out of it. Now simply form the dough into a ball. Get the dough onto your scales, and if your measurements were correct at the beginning, you should have around 600 grams, that's 21 ounces. And now you need to divide the dough into 6 equal pieces. And the best and the easiest way to do that is to use your dough scraper. And if you haven't got one, I highly recommend that you get one. It really is one of the best tools in the kitchen. Once your dough is divided, form each piece into a ball. Try to emulate the technique that I use. I go into a bit more detail in my dinner roll video on how to master this technique. It's well worth learning. I'll leave a link to it in the description box below the video. And once you get used to it, you'll be able to do 2 at a time, 1 in each hand. Once you form each ball, get them onto a lightly greased baking tray, making sure you leave plenty space in between for them to expand. The dimensions of the tray I'm using are on screen. To prevent them from drying out while they're proofing, I loosely cover them with a piece of oiled PVC-free cling film. So I'll get the tray into the warm spot, in the oven in my case with just the light bulb on, and set the timer for 20 minutes. And once that first 20 minutes are up, we'll take it out, put the tiger topping on and let it proof for a further 20 minutes. Okay, that's the first 20 minutes of the proofing done. So it's time to start applying the tiger paste. And as you can see, the yeast in the tiger paste is activated. So I'll give it a quick mix and start getting it on the rolls. Grab some onto your little spatula and gently spread it out all over the top half of your buns. I'll show you how to do one and then I'll skip through the rest. Now I've very carefully worked out the quantities in this tiger paste, so you don't have to worry about how much you need to use. Just divide it all up equally between all 6 rolls. You shouldn't have any left when you're finished. As you can see, it's very pliable without being runny. Right, that's the first one done. Now I'll fly through the rest, but you take your time with yours. You have a maximum of 20 minutes to get them all done, because while you're applying the tiger paste, the buns are still proofing or rising. And there you go, one empty bowl. Regardless of what stage you're at applying the tiger paste, about 10 minutes before the final proof time ends, preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius, that's 355 Fahrenheit, or gas mark 4. I've still got 5 minutes left to go on the second proof, so I'll cover them and set the timer for the final 5 minutes. Right, so that's the full 40 minutes proofing time up on these amazing rolls. Gently uncover them, you don't want any mishaps at this stage. And they're looking wonderful, so time to get them into the preheated oven. And once in, I'll set my timer for 20 minutes. And while those are baking, I hope you don't mind if I give my 4 recipe books a quick shout out. The books have lots of our favourite recipes from our work kitchens in them, and by popular demand I've consolidated all of the bread recipes from the first 3 books, plus a few more, into one book, and that book is called 30 Amazing Bread Recipes, and I'm sure you'll find it very useful. All 4 books are now available in the website shop. I'll leave a link in the description box below the video, or you can just click on the eye icon top right of your screen. Right, time's up on these gorgeous tiger rolls, and they're looking absolutely wonderful. Plenty of colour and a great crispy tiger pattern on top. And to be honest, it looks more like a giraffe than a tiger to me. The bread was originally invented in the Netherlands around the early 1970s, and it's also known as Dutch crunch bread. I'll get them off the baking tray and onto a wire rack to cool. When I come back, I'll let you see what they're like on the inside and of course have a little taste. Okay, can't wait any longer. They're cool enough to try one. These rolls have a delightful colour. The tiger top is nice and crisp without being hard. And as you can hear, they sound wonderful when you cut into them. And as you can see, the crumb inside is soft and light. Even with just a good helping of my homemade butter, these rolls are amazing. But you can use any filling you like to make the most amazing sandwiches with these rolls. My particular favourite is a BLT, that's bacon, lettuce and tomato. Start with a layer of butter or mayo, crispy lettuce, sliced tomatoes. I like to add a splash of hot sauce and plenty of crispy bacon on top. Get the tiger top back on and straight in for a bite. Absolutely delicious. I really hope you give them a go. They're easy and fun to make. I bet the whole family will give these a massive thumbs up. And as promised at the beginning of the video, here is the latest list of my Patreon, PayPal and Super Thank You button supporters. And they are Stephanie Savage, Kathleen Brannan, Dorothy D. Barnett, Joanne Lynham, Kathleen Rossales, Bill Nichols, Adria Ripka, Lyndon Lee, Anne Barrios, Rebecca H., James Thompson, Helena Bouches, Jean Cooling, Wild Will, Lady Pawpaw, Ingrid Gorey, Maggie Donaldson, M. Ord, Zoli Eke, R. Garcia 071, and Jessica and Garrick Maloney. Thanks very much guys, I really do appreciate all that you do in supporting the channel. Well, thank you again for watching. Please like, share, comment and subscribe by hitting the circle above. If you do subscribe, activate the bell icon next to the subscribe button on my channel page. And by doing that, you'll be automatically notified every time I upload a new video. And in the meantime, here's a few of my other videos and playlists that you may want to watch. So, until the next time, be safe in your kitchen and bye for now.